record something. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, okay.
We'll play it back and see how it goes. What are you thinking, Thomas? Are you whining? Is that our signal to start? Like a marker? Director Thomas whine? It's very nice of you. There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. I guess that's the one. Oh, here he comes. Hello. Hi. You coming to tackle me again?
So we got first guest appearance.
It's being recorded now this
With
time,
Thomas.
so you should be careful. Yeah. No. I'm sure the judge would probably throw it out. Don't worry. You'd be okay.
So how do we start these things?
I have no idea. What are you doing?
Welcome
Jill?
to the
Untitled
podcast.
We don't know. Just hanging out. You know,
Yeah.
the thing everyone else has done for the last since the pandemic. Bubba, chill. Hey, you're very sweet. You're very cute. Get down, Bubba, please. Too much licks. Too much kisses. Too many.
Thomas, stop.
You're a very sweet boy. Those snaps are gonna go over really well in the audio.
Yeah, I was about to say we're gonna have to probably figure something out with Thomas. I didn't really think he was gonna be as big of a struggle. I don't know why.
So excited. I think if I come over more often, I'll probably get a little less excited about it. But
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
as you endless ball of energy.
He's kind of bad.
Oh, I'm trying to fix my shoelace so you don't eat it.
It's crazy because I take him on like 2-3 mile walks every single day,
I know.
and still this much energy.
So much energy.
Can't.
This boy can't even. I'm giving daddy kisses now.
Thomas.
Anyway, how do we start this? What do we do? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been fun to set up.
Yeah. Lots of setup. Come to find out, setting up a podcast isn't as easy as just like hit go and record.
And making it good is gonna be even harder.
Oh, that's the part that'll come natural, right?
That's the fun part, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not that this hasn't.
We call it the Thomas Licking podcast at this point.
Yeah, here you go. The TLP. Let's go.
TLP.
Let's go. I don't know what to tell you.
So I think one of the biggest things, I don't know what we really talk about. What do we maybe talk about? Just what we're thinking about doing with the podcast, I guess. What
I suppose. Maybe just make these.
What are the plans for the podcast? Yeah, these are our notes on like what we need to be doing. What we figured out we need a desk set up.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yep.
We need some mic stands so that we're not holding microphones.
But I kind of feel a little cool.
I mean, yeah,
it gives me something to do with my hands.
Yours looks cooler. I feel like yours looks
a little more
yours.
For it.
Yeah, yours looks like it's built to be held a little bit more.
That's a good point.
And maybe if I took mine off of this, I don't think so.
Yeah, I've never seen an SM7B off of that. I don't even know what that would look like.
Yeah, it comes.
Did it come? It came with it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
interesting.
It's just part of it. Like I mean,
I guess because that's where the actual
where
XLR goes in.
My XLR attaches
fair
here.
enough. I guess they're all meant to be attached to arms. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I don't know.
It is yours is a front loading, right? I know different mics are different, right? I'm just making sure it's not like a side talk.
Like
it is a top. Yeah. I figure you know your mic.
I would think I'd know it too.
I don't know. We were talking about that other podcast that one of the hosts, he'll talk on his mic like this and everybody complains about it because it's like, bro, that's an SM7B. You're not supposed to.
Oh, interesting.
You're supposed to like use it correct. But I mean, I feel like it sounds good enough.
Is this the same as up here?
Oh, well,
No, it looks like
see in post.
In the levels. I mean, no, yeah, it's a little lower here than it is up here.
Yeah, it's probably supposed to be.
Okay, so it's probably supposed to be like, yeah, that's fine.
I feel like maybe that's the dynamics or like that. I don't remember. I
know.
used to know all that stuff about microphones and stuff, but
Mr. Rat Man, you still got that baby bottle?
I do. I still got the baby bottle. I haven't pulled it out in.
We should just put that like 2 rooms
years.
away. We could whisper. It'll still fucking hear us.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Been a minute since I've done music and stuff. We were talking about doing a little jingle for this.
Yeah,
so.
that'd be fun. Just something goofy and slapped together.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, dude. I mean, you'd be better at it than I would.
Like some kind of dubstep? Or what are you thinking?
Yeah, really. Yeah, it's really modern. 2024.
Like dubstep or
Nothing
like very
ages
classical, like Mozart. Like,
yeah.
Which I'm thinking one of the two.
Men in their 30s, really up to date.
I mean, we could do 100 Gex, I guess. That would be you're more up to date.
Some Dua Lipa, I think. She's big right now. Hearing this
is she? I don't know. What's a fucking brat? Charlie XCX. That's.
Well,
Although, yeah, I think
music, it'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we start out a little bit about like who we are. Like, I don't know. We're two dudes from.
Do they care?
True.
I care. Yeah, you know what? Fuck them.
Yeah.
Good enough. Let's go.
Who is them?
Who are we?
Yeah, two dudes from Oklahoma. We got tech backgrounds, I guess. We game. We met working.
Yeah, we did meet at work, didn't we?
Making like websites and shit.
Yeah.
For the state, some boring ass.
For the state, which were
boring
not.
ass state websites.
We're not very good, unfortunately. We tried to make them good. It was just so much, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
Tech's tough. I guess state anything is difficult no matter where you go. Bureaucracies and government stuff nonstop is just difficult. But
did you do any did you do any of I remember going on like one meeting where we met with like DHS and all that fun stuff. Did you do any of that bureaucracy stuff while you were there, or were you just tech?
I did. Well, I had a couple of meetings. So because I was like the intern at first, right? So we were software engineering interns at first, and then I was the developer and then DevOps whenever I started full time. So I think I went on like one actual like client meeting with a project manager, and that was an interesting experience because I was like not entirely sure what to say or what to do, and I was picking up that project from another engineer who was leaving, so it was like a trade-off, and the client was very familiar, and I had no idea what the hell we were doing or what we were talking about. So that was thankfully it was the only one I ever did, but
yeah, it
was rough. I felt terrible. I was like, I want to make something nice for you, but I actually don't know what you're talking about or what the application even is.
Yeah,
and we had so many there too. It's so difficult to manage. What are you doing, Thomas? But I don't know. You didn't go on many, right? I mean, you for all the stuff you did, and you did quite a bit. I feel like you didn't really work directly with any of the PMs necessarily. You just kind of, they handed you the work, or did you do a lot of help desk stuff?
I mean, here and there. I do feel like I went on like one client call. I had pretty much same vibe where I was like, why am I here? I don't know what I can do to help, but it was interesting. Yeah, kind of getting in that. But yeah, mostly I feel like more behind the scenes and staying on the tech stuff is kind of where I like to stay.
Same.
On the computer.
That's why the DevOps is nice, because then it's like everything that we do, like the clients are the engineers, not so much like the people receiving the product in the end that the engineers work with or the project managers maybe work with. That's their thing, and that's fine. But I enjoy, like, when I go to build something, it's for people who also write code or, you know, work in tech in some way. It's kind of nice because it's less of a barrier of entry, I think, to some of the conversations, and some of the requests are much more clearly like, this is my workflow that we both understand. Here's how it could be improved. I'm like, cool, let me work on that, no problem. But it's also interesting. I think working in tech here is like, it's so small anyway. Like, we have kind of a grassroots tech movement with like some of the Techlahoma stuff is getting a little bigger. There's, I think, a couple thousand people who've signed up for it at this point, but regular active members, I'm really not sure. But it's just, it feels like everywhere you look for a tech job or tech position or anything around here, it's just kind of like not, even still, not considered very important. It's just not well respected for some reason. I don't know why that is.
Yeah. I think I mentioned something about that, where it seems like even like DevOps specifically, like that specific field of tech, if you're looking at like bigger companies and stuff, they're looking for these extremely senior people and people that are on this high end and they've been in the industry for 10-15 years, and then you look here and they're like, yeah, no, we want the most junior people. That's what DevOps is, and we're just giving you the grunt work type thing, which is an interesting dichotomy between those.
It is weird because like that role in particular, like I kind of got into it from like, I worked in IT for, I don't even know, like 5 or 6 years at least while I was in college with my computer science degree, and then like combining all of that networking expertise and stuff that I developed over the years with IT rolled its way into my DevOps side like really well, because there's just so much to it that if you just go to like, even if you do get a CS degree, you just don't touch on any of that. Yeah. Like, there's so much to it. It's like you just have to have a broader understanding of like the full scope of the tech stack you're working with, not just like how to program. Yeah. And I mean, kind of similar with me. It's a little bit less like professional, but I've been making websites and hosting and doing all that stuff kind of on my own since I was like 12 years old. And so, kind of having that
insane background is very beneficial, but
maybe not necessary, but I would say it is beneficial. Which
Yeah.
is why like a lot of those roles, to your point, if you're working in that field, generally like, yeah, we want a lot of, and I suppose it's maybe a little less so now. I think part of it too is like when we started in that role 5-6 years ago, I guess, and even now, it was less common. But now there are things that are kind of catered, like there are tools that are catered more specifically to it. Kubernetes management and the Cloud Native Computing Foundation has got so many tools that made it easier to pick up and go. So even more focused direction to kind of get started with something. You don't necessarily need to understand like all of the nuance of load balancers and web servers and everything from A to B basically as far as like networking goes.
Yeah.
For your deployment processes or whatever the case may be. And things like with containerization and stuff, it's really abstracted out a lot of the need for like administration, Linux administration and server administration and stuff that otherwise would have been necessary and still would be if you're self-hosting to a degree, but like it's much easier now to go from like a product you've developed into a build artifact and then just shove that off somewhere without having to think about it.
Yeah.
So I think in some ways the barrier to entry for like the DevOps field or whatever the case may be has kind of lowered a good amount, which is important. But at the same time, I think it's also led to a bit of a misunderstanding that it's as simple as, just tell AWS that's what you want.
On
and you're
Amazon.
done. Yeah, exactly.
What do I need, Bezos?
Which, I mean, you could do that, but I think again, there's always a cost associated with it. You're either paying for somebody with the expertise to do it in a way that's like efficient, that's scalable, and lower cost in that regard, or you're paying somebody else to handle all of it for you, and you're probably paying out the wazoo for mediocre at best results. But
yeah.
That's tough. I don't know how we got off on this tangent, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, hey, it's working, man. We started talking. So,
I enjoy it though. I mean, so if you had to pick between like the tech in terms of like the IT and the DevOps side, or something more software engineering focused, where you're just like, hey, here's your ticket for the week, or here's your your task for this sprint, knock it out. Like, which would you think you'd prefer at this point?
Man, at this point, I don't know. I think part of the like benefit of DevOps is having that like extreme background and all of you get to touch everything and you get to learn about everything and you get to kind of get a little bit into the weeds of what is going on the server and all that stuff. And I think that is what draws me to DevOps to be like, oh yeah, DevOps. But I think there's something I would like to get better at, like just raw software engineering. I think getting better at it would be very interesting. And that part of me is like, oh, software engineering would be a lot cooler. Just because, I mean, it's being able to actually build something and whether or not it's hosted on my computer or on a website or on a distributed like little PCB somewhere. I think that stuff's kind of cool. I think my big issue is, just like, I don't want to learn that stuff. I do want to learn it, but I'm not good at it. I don't like being bad at stuff. I don't think anybody likes being bad at stuff. And so, part of it being like, oh, well, this is what I'm good at. That's what I'm going to keep doing. So, it's an interesting question though, for sure. What about you? Are you still down on DevOps? Are you?
I like them both. I mean, I think I do get the itch. Because I mean, honestly, I got the CS degree and I did all the programming because I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't like, I hate this, but I'm going to do it anyway. It was very much a matter of passion. But I have enjoyed the DevOps side because, like you said, the variety, it's the spice of life. But I think sometimes it does get a little exhausting being in that position where it's like, man, one day I could be working on like a deployment or I'm writing a shell script for some action, or I'm trying to automate some very simple task, and then the next day I'm handling like networking issues and logging and observability, and it's like, it is very fun, but some of that context switching can get kind of exhausting after a while. If you work on like a smaller team, it's like there's just so many different approaches you can take and so many different things that you may need to work on in a day or in a week or whatever the case may be, and it just gets very. Sometimes I long for the simplicity of like, well, the PM said this is the story for the sprint, so I'll just, knock it out.
As long as my test case is passed, we're good to go.
Exactly. I think to a degree, that's just a matter of like, as you get more senior, no matter the role, I mean, you're going to expand your scope. And I think that's part of it too. Like, 'cause I've been doing this for like this specific DevOps type role for like 5-6 years now, something like that. I'm old, but I think it is a matter of like scope creep is just going to happen in your role and whatever as you begin to lead more and as you begin to understand and architect more, you're going to be called on to do more things. I think it's important because it's a reflection of like, as I grow and people see it, they start to ask me for more things, knowing that I've grown. So it's, you know, flattering in a regard, but it's also just kind of exhausting sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You know, trade-offs.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah. What else outside of work? We're gaming. I guess you said you haven't been gaming as much lately. We talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, damn surgery threw me off, and I've just been busy.
But you talked about Dragon Age, right?
No, Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest. Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Oh, see, I had a whole misunderstanding of that conversation.
I was playing
Okay.
the old school JRPGs. Yeah.
Okay.
I played like 3 through 6.
Yeah.
They were fun. They were very fun. Very fun. I didn't play 1 and 2 because they're so dated. They came in like the 80s, which is fine. But I wasn't really craving that kind of. I was looking for something like, you know, it's got a job system and like a story I can follow that wasn't written inside of the damn manual 50 years ago.
You have to have I remember back in the day we had like you would get the big book where it's like, I have this like game walkthrough guide. Yeah. You have like a 300-page novel.
Oh,
like,
man. And even before that,
you get
still
through
they were
Pokemon
like, hey,
Gold.
Here's some crucial lore. These are the character names. You better read this damn manual. You're not going to know anything that's going on. Because we can't fit it on the cartridge. A lot of those Mega Man games, you're like, who is this red dude? I don't know, man. I rented this from Blockbuster.
Yeah, some of that stuff's crazy. Looking at like talking about like fitting it on the cartridge. Some of the things that like they did to do like Pokemon and stuff back in the day. Like the reason there's that many Pokemon is because that's how many they had. That's how big it could go. That was it. They put Mew on at the end because they were like, oh, we have extra space for one more Pokemon. Why
and they hit him under that damn truck. How did you do that? That's crazy.
Crazy.
I don't know if you were around much. I guess you're like a few years younger than me. Were you like 29?
30?
30 or 30? Something like, I don't know.
I don't even remember, man. I
Did you ever
stopped counting.
play the Pokemon Blue, Red, or Yellow, like on the original Game Boy back in the day?
Yeah, that was my first video game was Pokemon Yellow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you ever do like the Missing No glitch where you like swing up and down Cinnabar? You get to this?
Like that whole thing, Missing No in general is like a crazy
it's so good. It's crazy how broken that game was and how early, because that was like I remember before like Pokemon Silver and Gold and Crystal came out, everybody was like you go to Cheat Code Central or like GameFAQs or like any of those like websites and they're like, yeah, here's how you do it. I'm like, how the fuck do people know this? Like, how did you figure this out? That's insane. And it's so interesting to think now that like if you have a cartridge on that, like it's stuck there. Like you're not getting any over-the-air updates for like a Game Boy Color game or a Game Boy game. Not like we do now. It's interesting like how drastically different. Just think about like the developing something like that, like how different it must have been. I'd be so fascinated to learn more about, honestly.
Well, even then, like just imagining, because right now I feel like I'm not in the games industry, but I've heard about the games industry and how big like crunch and like making sure you're getting to the release date and stuff. Imagine that whenever it's like, but you have to ship this one cartridge, and so it's
the
like
one thing,
we never get a chance to change this now.
Yeah,
so it's like you screw something up, there's no day one patch, because there's no new maps, it's crazy.
And like even for all the crunch now, it's like even half the time something new comes out, it's still not really complete.
Yeah.
Like, day one patch, we're gonna fix all these things. Thanks for reporting these issues, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's negative for sure, and it's frustrating to have like an incomplete product and be like, well, I paid $60, $70 for this. But I also do kind of understand that like you can only QA so much. I mean, and there's no QA like thousands of people screaming at you to fix something.
True.
So I don't know. I mean, it's a difficult situation no matter what, but it's fascinating. And I think growing up, being into computers and tech in general, I think everybody as a kid was like, man, video games are cool, and I really want to make one. But even any time I'd go in to try and modify a video game I'd played or worked on any modding or anything, I was like, this sucks.
Oh, see,
so much math. It's so difficult.
I love the modding part, but whenever you start making the game, that sucks. You're starting to have to worry about like frame rates, learning how frame rates affect the game speed. It's like, what is happening?
And even beyond the programming side, it's like the art and the story, and there's so many logistical pieces that go into just creating something like
it's
that.
Crazy.
The music. It's just, I mean, it's nuts to think about like how many extremely talented people worked so fucking hard to make something.
I'm pretty sure like you think about the original Game Freak, weren't they like only a few people?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that team was only like a few people. Yeah,
they were. It was not big.
It's insane because now we're talking about we have a team of 100 and
like,
we have QA and we have all, and it's like but you had like 3 dudes scrapped together on a 50 meg cartridge or however much a Game Boy cartridge.
And it's crazy how much you take that for granted too. And like, I mean, you think about like the people who created some of the modern systems. I think Gunpei Yokoi was one person who like had like big vision for like the original Game Boy, and like all of the consoles that have came and gone, they just disappeared. We don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the engineering hours must have gone into somebody just like very meticulously building something out as like a passion project when it was such a small industry in like the mid 80s. It's just crazy how do you do that? Like how do you get started in that and you're like, I'm just gonna make something brand new. I just don't. It's amazing. I don't know. If I deviate from like a cooking recipe, if I make a tuna casserole the wrong way, it turns into fucking charcoal. Like I don't understand how somebody can just take some wires and a breadboard and just make magic out of it. It's incredible.
All rocks and lightning, right?
I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's so cool. And having like some context for, I think in like an academic sense, to go back to like the CS education and stuff, having some context for like just like the introduction basically that I got to some of the engineering physics, some of the electrical engineering stuff was like, it's incredible that people have learned how to communicate this stuff and have condensed it into like digestible courses more or less.
Right.
It's just like I couldn't even begin to understand half of what they were talking about in most of those lectures, and being able to learn it without any of those lectures is just it's incredible to me what some people can accomplish.
Yeah. I think part of that is falling back on like your comment on DevOps and stuff. It's just like, but if you're in that specific industry, you're doing that specific thing for so long, you do start to pick up on those little things and really start understanding those things that some people kind of take a little bit for granted, you know?
I suppose that's true. And I think a lot of it really, I mean, the answer to a lot of that is community. You know what I mean? Like, I think there are obviously exceptional people, like, who have created amazing things. But even if you have, like, you know, Newton has his name on a bunch of stuff, but he wasn't the only one making math at that point. I mean, like, who was the other guy who did the, oh my God.
I'm thinking Galileo.
Galileo, that was something
for some reason.
And he was like, that was like astronomy. That was a different time period, though. Who was the other guy? Leibniz? Who also did I don't know, I'm off on a tangent, doesn't matter. Fucking integrals and derivation and calculus. Like, they both kind of founded it, like, around the same time. Some dude in Germany, and then Newton in... Where the hell's Newton from? Also Germany.
He's probably Germany, I
don't know. England or something? I really should know this. I studied the hell out of it, but... I've forgotten it. Who cares?
The crazy thing to me, whenever I like look into a lot of that, like old school, like a lot of that, doesn't that come from like same generational era? Like a lot of those discoveries and stuff are, I think, like around 1600s, 1700s.
Yeah.
Pre that, it's like, what the fuck were we doing? Post that, it's like even the next 120, 200 years.
Even
like
with that,
I mean like, we've done industrial stuff for sure, but like the actual like scientific accomplishments that were made in like the 1600s and 70s, it's like, what were y'all doing?
I mean, I think when we were taking our linear algebra course, there was stuff that was like, in ancient China they did some of this linear algebra, and I was like, how in the fuck?
Yeah.
What did ancient Chinese need with, like, that's insane. What do you do with linear algebra that you needed in ancient China? I have no idea. Like accounting of some sort. Like, it's just crazy. Like, some of these practices have existed for such a long time, and I guess that's what my point, though. I suppose, like, it's more about just community. Like, when I think what really made the massive advances in technology there was not that the ideas or the concepts or even the written language for it didn't exist previously. Right. It was the ability to communicate that across wide swaths of similar like-minded communities and people. I mean, like, if the ancient Chinese could have spoken with, like, anyone else in any other culture regularly or any other country regularly and, like, found other niche pockets of people who were like, oh, actually, we were thinking similar stuff to you. Actually, that's kind of weird. And then, you come up with, like, unique problems and then solutions to those unique problems. And I think that's a lot of it really is just like the globalization of communication is such rapid advancement comes from just that. But I don't know. It's fascinating to think about, like, any one person has that drive that I couldn't even fathom. And then you get a bunch of people in a room that have that same drive. I'm like, how do you find all these people? Like, it's insane. What do you think, Thomas? He's chewing on a carrot.
Yeah, we got a noisy, whiny dog. Luckily, he's entertained at the moment. So.
Yeah, he's been pretty chill.
Good,
so we sat down. I think maybe us walking around. He was like, it's my turn to walk around. You chewing on a toy?
Yeah, he's going to get into it, that's for sure.
He's a cute boy. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that wasn't really about us. We just kind of rambled for a little bit. But
it
was
bro,
fun,
that's
though.
the point of this.
Cool. I mean, yeah, that's true, too.
That's the point of this. Just ramble. I
I
don't...
need to hang out. I need to know how long we're supposed to run this for. Like,
I mean, I feel like we get to decide. This one's been half an hour. We could honestly
call it here. I mean,
probably...
it's a test run. It'd be fine.
I think this is good for test run.
Yeah.
How long do we want to do? Half an hour? Do we want to do an hour? Do we want to set up some topics and stuff? I think this went okay. I'm kind of open noting at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, this is our notes writing. You know, we'll just have to remember after the 35-minute mark.
Yeah.
Stop talking random nonsense and then start getting to the actual important bits.
Yeah. One thing, I think having a timer, so we like
That's
a visual.
Point.
Okay,
something,
cool.
Yeah, something out here that
20 minutes, and then as we're like rambling, we might look back and be like, oh, it's been 30 minutes. Like, so we have an idea of how long. There is a timer I've been kind of keeping an eye on, but it's very tiny.
Yeah.
So maybe something a little more visual
Once we get a
for
desk,
us. it'll
be a lot easier to like set something up.
Yeah,
that'll be good.
But yeah, timer. Maybe even having like some like, I mean, we talked about having some kind of living document or something, but not even necessarily that we have to like go through that, but something that we could look at and be like, all right, like let's glance over and like snag something from that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a great idea. Just like a list of like, here's some stuff we could talk about if we run short on a topic.
Yeah, if we're sitting here rambling and stuff like that.
That's a great idea.
Like
It's
smart. Pretty good, but
oh my goodness, whiny baby boy.
We might have to worry about the whiny boy a little bit. We either need him get a little less whiny. There was one moment I think he started bumping the camera, so that could be interesting.
He did, yeah. He was rubbing his back.
But you know, I think desk will help with that a little bit too.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Is that me? That may be me.
That was probably you. No, you're good. But yeah, any other notes that we can think of?
At the moment, I mean, I feel like I gotta sit up straighter. I look horrible right now in this camera angle. What the hell is happening?
Yeah, again, we get a desk. We get a desk. We're a little more. I think next time we'll probably care a little bit more about camera angle, care a little bit more about maybe lighting, maybe not. I think lighting once we set up, because we plan on putting the desk right there, lights right there.
Yeah, lighting will be a little
those
better
actually probably will be pretty decent for us.
I think so. We'll figure it out. It's not a huge deal. I think my biggest concern immediately, and this is something we'll figure out with testing, is like the audio treatment. Like how does it sound? I feel like this is still the better room because that one would be so echoey.
This 100%. Yeah, for sure. The carpet was a good call.
Carpet helps.
I don't know why I didn't think about that, but 100%.
I feel like honestly, I think we should be okay. We'll test it out. This is fun though.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be. Fun. Just sit and
chit chat. It should be good. Yeah, we'll just find some random people. And
maybe pull some people on and
find whoever was in that Kia there. Ask them why they were so. We can interview them about that.
Yeah,
why are you so lost? Why are you sitting at the stop sign for
like 45 seconds? Yeah, what the fuck happened?
What were you doing?
And then you just pulled over, just sat in the middle of the street.
Yeah. Explain
Tell us what was going through.
Yeah.
But I think we'll call it here. Any comments? I don't know if we're even posting this, but
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, if we do,
no reason not to.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I think we're supposed to say that shit at the first.
The call to action.
Do people do that in podcasts? I don't even know.
I have no fucking idea.
I watch way too many podcasts, and I can't even think. Do they ask for? I do. It's crazy.
If you're on like Apple Music, I don't know if that even exists. Is it like a rate and a comment? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows? We'll figure it out.
We're just goofing.
But yeah, no. Fun time.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Bye for now. Now we cease to exist.
Yeah. See ya.